Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Dante Fortson here with Go Ask Your Pastor, episode 11. Europeans knew Jews were in West Africa. So today we're going to talk about that subject, and I'm going to give you a brief update or slash correction on the last Go Ask Your Pastor episode. For those that do want to show your support for what is going on with this ministry, you can do so at patreon.com/Dante Fortson. For those of you who are at the new VIP level, there is now a dedicated exclusive phone number for VIP patrons that want to contact me directly via text or phone call. I don't always answer the phone calls, but I do always text back. So for those of you who have been wanting a way to get in touch with me, you can do so by becoming a VIP patron at patreon.com/Dante Fortson. For those that want to support via Cash App, you can do so with hashtag BHITB. The PayPal link is in the description, and you are always more than welcome to support via Super Chat during one of the live premieres. For those that do not have it, a share and a prayer are always appreciated. So speaking of those that do not have it, Ron Shields, aka Divine Prospect, has been doing some great work for the black community, helping people out in this time of crisis, black families specifically. I have given to his ministry, and I will be giving to his ministry every month to help black families that are in need while we are in this time of crisis. I agree with him fully that we can and need to help our own. So for those of you who need help, please contact Kingdom Harbinger Ministries, Ron Shields, aka Divine Prospect. I will have a link to his YouTube channel, and I will have a link to his GoFundMe page as well. For those that have been blessed with extra like myself, please give as you can to black families that are in need. Even if you don't want to go through Brother Ron's ministry, do your part. Because we don't need handouts from everybody else. We have enough money to help our own community. We spend 1.3 trillion a year on stuff. So if we can afford to spend 1.3 trillion a year on stuff, we can afford to help our own people through this times of crisis. So again, go to Kingdom Harbinger Ministries if you are seeking help in this time of crisis, or if you do want to give. I do believe Brother Ron is sincere in his mission, and so that's why I've chosen to go through him. He already has the infrastructure and everything set up and in place. Again, for those that want to give but may not want to go through Brother Ron, please do so. You can set up your own GoFundMe accounts or however you want to do it. But again, we need to help our own in this time of crisis. So if you have not done so already, please put your thumbs up. Please click the subscription button. And if you've already clicked the subscription button, please click the notification bell so that you don't miss any new videos coming up. So before we jump into today's lesson or today's information, this episode is brought to you by Epic Failure. As you can see, Nefertiti put out her response video to me when I exposed her as a false teacher and a terrible researcher. And her video to date, I just took this screenshot a few minutes ago before making this video. She's had 2,808 views, one of her most viewed videos on the channel in recent times, mostly because she used my name. And it has more dislikes, thumbs down than thumbs up. And you only get this way if you are a lying false teacher. I've never even come close to getting as many thumbs down as she's gotten in comparison to thumbs up. And there's a lot of other people that I see on YouTube posting that have never gotten more thumbs down than thumbs up. And one of my favorite replies on her channel, which is pretty funny, she is asked for evidence over and over again. She's called out as a liar over and over again. But one comment stands out the most. And it is this one right here by KT Allen 2025. Nefertiti, you are doing your own people a great disservice. I'm a member of the Houghton Library at Harvard University. I recently read a $30,000 book called Africa by John Ogilvy, who was the surveyor to King Charles II, published in 1669. Page 34 of his book details the Jews of West Africa who were descendants of Jerusalem, Judeans. This is just one book of many. The evidence is overwhelming. Please do an extensive research so that your eyes can be opened. Now, I have no way to verify whether or not this person really is a member of the Houghton Library of Harvard University. But I am aware of John Ogilvy's book, and this person is 100% right. And I even referenced John Ogilvy in the Nephronity Exposed video, where I exposed her and Damon Richardson. So if you have not checked that out, please go do so. All right. For those of you new to the channel, Go Ask Your Pastor is a segment on my channel where I attempt to get your pastor to release a diss track about you for asking them questions that they may not have the answers to. So today we're going to talk about evidence, and everything ties hand in hand, because once you start getting into the truth, everything becomes consistent. So in episode 10, I covered this information right here from 1890. It was a French translation, and I did make a mistake in the translation right here where it says port slave traders gay. Now, what I didn't know, and people were very fast to correct me, so thank you for those who did correct me and send me the correct information here. So the reason it's broken up here, it's actually supposed to be Portuguese. So you'll see this translated on the other video, and I mentioned right here it's broken up. Portuguese right here is Portuguese. So when it translated in Google Translate, as you can see what I used, it broke it up. Port slave traders gay. So it's supposed to be Portuguese slave traders. So that is the correction that I want to put out there for episode 10 if you've already watched that. All right. So today's evidence. Now let me point out that this was published in 1890 from last episode, 1890. Today we're going to look at an earlier source that says something similar, and that was published here in 1882. So 8 years before the French published it. We have a book called The Earth and Its Inhabitants. And right here, we see a contributor is Princeton Theological Seminary Library. That's important because when you run into these pseudo-Christians that call themselves urban apologists, this cult has been trying to say that we are lying, and yet we keep coming up with more and more evidence from universities, and now I'm going to toss a seminary in there, Princeton Theological Seminary Library. So if this information is false, you need to call up Princeton Theological Seminary Library and ask them to remove it from their list of books. And it's a simple request. And for some reason, the so-called Christians, this cult that opposes us, they refuse to call the sources or the publishers or the libraries or the museums to have this information updated or corrected. And yet they will call us liars. They want to debate us. I'm not debating. Call Princeton Theological Seminary Library. If you want to debate them. Don't call me and ask me for a debate. I have nothing to debate. Until you debunk these universities, I have no reason to believe that these universities are lying. Period. Debunk the university. I didn't publish the information. I'm only sharing it. So now, in The Earth and Its Inhabitants, we have here. Now, before we get started, I do want to point out one more thing. I'm only showing you one page, a paragraph, a section. This book is over 600 pages long. So what you will see later on is a bunch of posts or a bunch of videos from these dishonest people who call themselves the urban apologists. This cult will put out a video saying, well, Dante didn't show you this or he didn't show you that. It's a 600-page book. I'm telling you right now, I'm not showing you all 600 plus pages of this book. So when you see them say that I didn't show you this or that, understand that I'm not going to ever read an entire book in a video. It just doesn't make sense. So just know that when you see them posting. So now in this book right here, and a link is going to be in the description, so you can find it yourself. And there's actually a search function. You can search for this stuff and pull it up. It says here right under the section Dahomey, it says east of the Great Popo begins the Dahomey territory, guarded by the important town of Glewey. And again, it looks familiar because the way, W-E-H, you will see that sometimes when people spell Yahweh, depending on how they transliterate the word. The town of Glewey, known to the Europeans, this is important, known to the Europeans by the various names of Fida, Hasida, Wida, and Wida. The old writers, so remember this is published in 1882, and he's referring to the old writers, meaning before this. The old writers called it Judah, and its inhabitants were said to be Jews, while the neighboring river Alala, whose real name is Ephra, became the Euphrates. Changes a little bit of geography as we know it too. During the flourishing days of the slave trade, from 16 to 18,000 were annually transported from Ajuda, as the Portuguese called this place, while at the time had a population of 35,000. The titular deity of Witta is the snake, and its famous fetish temple is served by priestesses called mothers or sisters of serpents, and recruited by the abduction of young girls on feast days. Witta belongs by right of conquest to Dahomey since 1725, when it received the name Glewe, or the farm, indicating the part it played in supplying the capital with provisions. So again, we see here the last evidence was from 1890. It was a French source saying that the Europeans believed or knew that the Jews were in West Africa. And now we see a source from 1882, which is 8 years prior to the last source, that says that the inhabitants were said to be Jews. So there's no mistaking here. And it said the old writers. So that means prior to 1882, writers were saying that Jews were in West Africa. Now, what's important here, it says during the flourishing days of the slave trade, from 16 to 18,000 were annually transported from Ajuda, as the Portuguese called the place. So now the urban apologists or urban apologetics community have backed Nefertiti. Nefertiti has claimed that these were European Jews that were deported to West Africa. And now we're seeing a source that says that 16 to 18,000 were transported yearly from there. So we've been asking for a source from the urban apologetics community for weeks. Some people have asked for years. I've asked for weeks. Going on, it's probably going to be a couple months. It'd probably be forever. But they have yet to provide a source where all these thousands of white Jews, as they believe these were white Jews. They have yet to provide a single source that says these Jews were white and living in West Africa and were being deported by the thousands every single year. So please be careful who you listen to when it comes down to history. Some of these people are very dishonest and they don't want you to find the truth. They are being paid. They're being backed by white money. For those of you who are people of transatlantic slave descent, understand that the urban apologetics community, Eric Mason being at the top, is being backed by white money. Understand that Vocab Malone is a white racist being backed by white money to oppose this. And a lot of the house Negroes that you see supporting them, they are falling in line. They are not necessarily being paid. Some of them are being paid. Now, if you want receipts, there's people out there you can contact and you can find receipts. I've showed you guys some GoFundMe stuff. I've showed you guys some other stuff. But understand that as more of this evidence come out, what they're going to do is they're going to start making more personal attacks. They're not going to attack the evidence and they're not going to provide you any sources. So if you want to see for yourself what I'm saying is true, ask any urban apologist or Christian that opposes this. Ask them for their sources. They will not give you the sources, or they will want to question you first, or they will give you the runaround. They will want you to take their word for it because that's how they operate. They operate in the spirit of deception. So anyway, make sure you go ask your pastor why they have not showed you this evidence. If they don't know of the evidence, that's not a problem. Help them get educated if they're willing to educate themselves. If they do know about it, ask them why they haven't shared it with you. If they're unwilling to share this evidence, you should probably find yourself another pastor. The fact is, the information is coming out. We know what the truth is, and people who oppose this truth are doing so simply because they hate black people. Some people are black that hate black people. They are self-hating. You guys have seen Uncle Ruckus on the Boondocks. There are a lot of Uncle Ruckuses running around right now in the black community that hate the idea that black people were chosen. They love the idea that white people were chosen. They love white Jesus. They want to worship a white man. And that's just simply what it comes down to. So again, make sure you go ask your pastor. If you've not already grabbed your copy of Undeniable Full Color Evidence of Black Israelites in the Bible, you can do so on Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble. It is mostly full color evidence, very little text, definitely no scriptural interpretation. They can't say we took it out of context. They can't say we're reading history out of context. It's full color pictures. It shuts down all arguments. They can argue that these are dark-skinned Europeans all they want to, but we know that's a lie. For those that want a historical breakdown with the verses, check out the Black Hebrew Awakening, the final 400 years as slaves in America. Things are getting interesting right after the end of 2019. As I said, there would be a pause and then the stuff would start happening. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now coming into 2020. We are 4 months into 2020 and we are seeing all kind of stuff all over the world. So make sure you check out this book. Don't let the urban apologists lie to you based on the title. We know they haven't read it. So yeah, grab your copy of that. And again, if you have not clicked the thumbs up button yet, please do so. Please click the subscribe button as well. And if you've already subscribed, make sure you click the notification bell so that you don't miss any future episodes. And with that said, until next time, I'm out.